They were starting a new unit on ecosystems. It happens to be Unit D in your book. When you look at this picture, you see different ecosystems: desert, coral reef, a prairie with a lot of grass, and a tundra. Very cold, very dry grass. Not a lot of grass. Okay, so what is ecology? Ecology is the study of the interactions among organisms and their environment. So this is in the bottom picture a river, and there are some scientists taking some samples out of a pond, out of a stream, freshwater stream. Then they'll go back to their lab and they will check what they have found. A habitat. See the raccoon in the tree? A habitat is a place where an organism lives. The environment, the surroundings in a habitat. So there's an owl and woods. The woods have a lot of shade, trees, and a cool temperature. The owl's habitat is the woods, which is an environment. So it's the organisms and the non-living parts and the features of the surroundings that are good for the animal and plants. Okay, this is an ecosystem, so it's a bigger area than the woods, bigger area, definitely a lot larger than the habitat. Could be a forest or a pond, including all the living things in it, and also the soil, the air, and the climate. This is an African savanna. You can see different animals and a tree, African acacia tree in the picture. I like to talk about SAMPAWS as a way to remember, as an acronym to remember the living parts and the non-living parts of an ecosystem. So the living parts are the animals and plants. SA, sun and air. M stands for minerals. Then we have the P and the A, which is the plants and animals, and ending up with the water and the soil. Important to remember these, and a good easy way is SAMPAWS. Producers make their own food using sunlight. Now you already learned this in M1EP, so do not write this down unless you don't remember. Consumers eat other living things. Herbivores, animals that eat only plants. Carnivore, animals that eat only other animals. Omnivores, omnivores eat both plants and animals. You have a picture of chickens and a Malaysian sun bear. Decomposers, might be a new word. Write it down. An organism that feeds on the bodies of dead plants and animals. The examples are bacteria and fungi. A couple questions for you. Is the great white shark a producer, consumer, or decomposer? It is a consumer. Is it a herbivore, carnivore, or omnivore? It is a carnivore. Is it a snail? Same questions. It's a consumer. It's also a herbivore. This is a moose. It is a consumer. It is a herbivore. This is a chameleon. It is a consumer. It is a carnivore. This is bacteria. It is a decomposer. And the other question does not apply. Okay, adaptations. Having features that help a plant or animal to survive. This is a picture of a finch. The finch's beak is adapted to crack open big seeds. Okay, crocodile. What are some adaptations of a crocodile? Strong jaws, sharp teeth. It's a reptile, cold-blooded. Its skin is scaly, helps for protection. This is a gibbon. What are some adaptations of the gibbon? Long arms, It's a mammal. It has a baby there. So it feeds its young with milk. It also has fur to keep it warm. This is a baobab tree in Africa. Doesn't rain very much. This tree has spongy bark that can absorb water very, very quickly. It's very tall off the ground, so the only animals that really eat this are the giraffe. Octopus, adaptations. I hope you remembered the word camouflage. Also very intelligent. Okay, competition. So you see a picture of some wolves. Competition is the struggle between organisms in a habitat for scarce resources like food, water, and space. Well, this is winter. Not a lot of food out there. So these wolves compete against each other, and they also compete against other carnivores for the limited amount of food in the environment. Predation. Predation is a relationship between a predator feeding on its prey. It's like lion and wildebeest. What is a predator? So you have a hawk, scorpion, and a Bengal tiger, an animal that hunts and feeds on other animals. What is prey? An animal that is hunted by a predator for food. Parasitism, a relationship. The parasite harms the host. So you have a mosquito and you have, these are eels eating the blood from the fish. Mutualism. Both organisms benefit from the relationship. So you have bees. They're getting nectar, which is sugar water, from the flower. The flower is being pollinated by the bee. Okay? Clownfish and an anemone. Commensalism. One organism benefits without affecting the other. So you have orchids living on a tree. That's good for the orchid. It gives habitat for the orchid. Does not hurt the tree. There are birds on the wildebeest. The birds are eating any kind of bugs off of the wildebeest. And barnacles on the humpback whale. Barnacles have a habitat and they can eat any kind of small pieces of food. And while the whale is swimming, they pick up food out of the water. Okay, what relationship is this? Is it parasitism, predation, commensalism, or mutualism? This is predation. What relationship is this? You see the eel, the fish on the shark. This is commensalism. Benefit to the shark. Actually, no, this is mutualism. This is a benefit to the shark getting cleaned, and the fish is getting food. Okay, great white shark and a seal. This is predation. What is this? Caterpillar and some sort of egg larvae. This is parasitism. Okay, we have an alligator and birds. Looks like this is mutualism. The birds are getting a meal and the alligator is getting its teeth cleaned. And an elephant and a bird. This is commensalism. Only the elephant. Actually, no, that's mutualism again. Sorry. The bird gets food. The elephant gets cleaned. All right, what relationship is this? This is parasitism. That is a tick on a dog. And this is a butterfly and a spider. It's predation. All right, we're going to talk about food chains. Food chains are a diagram that show how the organisms in a habitat are linked together by feeding. Now, you already learned this in M1EP. But we're going to be talking more about the movement of the energy. So the arrows in a food chain show what eats what, and the direction of the energy transfer. So the energy comes from the sun. That light energy is trapped by the chlorophyll in the grass. The grass is a producer. And then we have a primary or a first consumer, which is the mouse, secondary consumer, the snake, and the third consumer is the hawk. So the arrows show the flow of energy, the transfer of energy. Food webs, two or more food chains linked together. You see many, many arrows, many, many food chains, different relationships. Interdependent. Okay, so this is when organisms in the same food web are dependent on each other. And you can see decomposers down at the bottom. When producers and consumers die, the decomposers break them back down, and minerals in their bodies are released back into the soil and taken up again by the producers, the new producers. Interdependent. Something happens in a food web, maybe there's a forest fire that destroys habitats for different animals, and this can affect food chains because maybe there's not as much food for animals that are higher up in food chains to eat. Populations. So population size depends on competition, predation, and disease. Competition for food resources, predation is the predator-prey relationships that happen, and disease is another problem that can kill a lot of members of a population. This is a pyramid of numbers. This is talking about the number of organisms at each level. So how many plants are on the ground? How many mice are eating those plants? How many snakes are eating the mice? And how many hawks are eating the snake? You can see that when you have a pyramid of numbers, the numbers go down as you go up the food chain, making a pyramid shape. Now, it's not always a pyramid shape. Sometimes there will not be a pyramid when one large producer has many small consumers living on it. So the example here is an oak tree, which has many primary consumers, insects, and the secondary consumer is the woodpecker. So there's a lot fewer woodpeckers than there are insects, and there's only one tree. And this is a pyramid of biomass. Okay, biomass is a new word. It means all of the material in, say, a tree or a living thing, except the water. So when the water is removed, what is the mass of the organism? And biomass is energy. This is always a pyramid because it is weight. Okay? It's the weight of living things at each level. So that is the end of this PowerPoint, of this lecture. It was quite long, but we're not going to have another one for this unit. So please make sure you've taken all your notes, and I will see you in class. Bye-bye.